and welcome to the Scream podcast, where we talk about horror films and everything we love about them. We're the best UK horror podcasts around. Don't even try and deny it, because you know we are. Each and every week we talk about a horror film, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and we discuss it here on the podcast for you to all enjoy at home on Spotify and YouTube. How are you, Scott?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't even introduce us.
You didn't?
I'm George. This is Scott.
I'm Scott.
There we go. Yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, so what have you been doing, mate? What have you been up to this week?
To be honest, just been busy with work.
Have you?
Yeah. 2 10s, mate. Absolute nightmare.
No.
And overtime, trying to pick up some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that dollar beans, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah.
I got really drunk on the weekend.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, God, yeah, we was out on Friday. He was out on Friday with the podcast.
Yeah.
No, we had a good night. We didn't intend to go out and get drunk, but we did. No. It was nice.
Started off with a nice little meal and then escalated as per usual.
It did, mate.
That's good.
So, what we're here to talk about this week, we are here for Insidious.
Yes.
The reason we're talking about Insidious, it was in Scott's top 10 from last week.
It was.
No spoilers, but it was. And we decided that as a modern horror, it's probably up there with one of the best.
Yeah.
And we thought, why not? Let's have a go. Deep diving into a film that a lot of people are aware of, a lot of people have seen. It's a film that cost 1.5 million to make and made 100 million at the box office.
That's just ridiculous.
So there you go. So it's a lot of people have watched it.
Yeah.
It's on a lot of people's radars. Obviously, the latest film, Insidious, The Red Door. I said last week, but that was the last one that they did. The Red Door, which obviously dives back into our mate Josh's past and trying to get rid of this old lady that's following him around, I believe. No spoilers. I don't know what happens in the film.
Still not seen it yet.
But we think that's going to be the story, the case. The Red Door, obviously.
Because I think Dalton's there as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's older now.
Yeah. So that's what we're assuming the film's about, with it being called The Red Door.
So I thought it was fitting to watch the original one.
So
and then...
So we're probably gonna go and watch that at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll discuss that in a later date. But yeah, today is going to be all about Insidious.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of housekeeping. Next week I am away on holiday for my 30th for a couple of weeks. We are going to try our best to fit in 2 episodes before I go away, so that we can release them when I'm away.
That might need a few beers.
Yeah, it might do, because that's going to be a long slug. That's
going to be a lot of talking.
We haven't decided what we're going to do next week, but we'll probably let you know at the end. We'll discuss it and we'll let you know at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
That's about it for me, I think. I need to shut this door.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I need to shut this door, mate, because the dog's in there being a pain in the ass. Okay, so The Insidious came out in 2011.
Oh, I got 2010.
Yeah, I think it was made in 2010. It was released in 2011.
Oh, right, okay.
It was a 15 at the cinema for UK audience. The 15. Okay. There's no gore.
There's no gore.
There's no gore in it.
I agree.
There isn't much swearing.
It's not that bad. No.
I probably would have said 12.
Yeah, I would. I'd happily say 12
There's a lot of scary scenes. There's a lot of
jump scares.
The only bit of gore in the film is towards the end, and it's a shot where a woman stands in front of 3 people with a shotgun. You hear the noise go off, but you don't see it.
You don't actually see it.
But then you just see the
blood
bullet
on
holes.
the back of the chair.
Yeah, and the bullet holes. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, 15. Okay, fair enough. This film was shot in 3 weeks.
That's just ridiculous.
By obviously James Wan, the director of Saw.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Dead Silence, The Conjuring. He's done them all. The guy knows what he's doing.
He's a legend in what he's doing.
Yeah, he started with Saw, obviously moved on to Dead Silence, which is a really good film if you've not seen that. Obviously then went on to Insidious, and then a couple of years later The Conjuring universe was born.
So just them 2 franchises, a career in itself.
Absolutely. Insidious and The Conjuring has taken over as modern horror's 2 sort of biggest franchises, I'd say.
Both Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson plays Josh in this.
I'd say he's like a new horror legend.
Yeah, he plays Ed Warren really well
years.
in The Conjuring.
Yeah, definitely.
and we have the lovely Australian Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne, who plays his wife.
She's
Yeah.
actually in 28 Weeks Later.
Is she?
Which I had to sort of check on. I was like, okay, I didn't realise. Yeah, so her biggest, she did a lot of films before that, but
Because I remember
big break was 28 Weeks Later.
And stuff.
And then really, she did a lot of crap.
She did comedy more,
And then,
thought.
then got brought into Insidious.
Yeah.
And then it was like
really
Bridesmaids, Getting to the Greek.
That's it, yeah.
Bad Neighbours. She's in all of them. But she actually does a really good job in this.
I really think she does, because especially at the beginning, it's all focused on her.
She, you know, a lot of the theming surrounding this film is how she is coping with basically being a live-at-home mum with a son that's in a coma.
That's it.
For all intents and purposes. Sorry, I did for the audio audience. I did quotation marks there. Yeah, he's in a coma.
Yeah.
Quotation.
But they don't know why.
Trying to think if there's anything else that I could talk about the actual film before we get cracking. It did well at the box office. To gross nearly 100% of your budget is pretty damn good.
Definitely.
100% of your budget.
100%. No?
200%. 1,000%. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a lot of money.
It went from 1 to 100.
Yeah.
So that's pretty spectacular.
Especially in 3 weeks. Like, just think how what I was saying to you before. Imagine being an actor, and you see when you see films coming out in like a certain year, and you see the same actor in about 4 or 5 films in the cinema that year, and you're like, how much time
How
does
did
that
he
take?
do? Yeah, how did he manage that?
But if they managed to do it in 3 weeks, that's nothing.
It's impressive.
And how much money you get for 3 weeks' work.
I think what you got to remember is that they've got to prepare for these roles as well.
Yeah, of course.
So
because you have method actors.
Yeah.
They have all different takes on how they end up playing the role.
Yeah.
So, I can imagine that can take time, and obviously like the reading, because obviously they'll do read-throughs together first.
Yeah, they'll have to do sit-down reads. And
to actually film it in 3 weeks, that's just...
It's really impressive.
I think it
is. So, the film starts with a lovely little shot, doesn't it?
It really does.
Starts with a nice opening shot. You see you don't know who it is, it's a child in the bed.
Yeah.
Zooms in, sort of pans across the room, and then you see this sort of figure behind, moves across, and then you pan to is it a kitchen or it's a different
so it
room?
goes to the kitchen, you see like a shadow.
Yeah.
And then it pans across more.
The music and the strings building up, and then boom, face in the window.
Yeah.
Old woman in the window.
Yeah, haggard old woman.
And then what I love about Insidious, I love the logo for Insidious. So as soon as you see that woman, the strings come to a climax, and then it's just bam, Insidious on the screen, like this huge letters.
It looks really old.
Yeah.
Like you'd expect, like The Exorcist or something like that. That sort of style. So it's set like 80s style of font, and like you said, the big boom, the
big strings.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
And then that's it. Cut out to the sort of.
It has like So what I noticed was when it's doing that, it then goes into sort of nice music. So the nice music's playing, and it's got like stills of like pictures of a house.
That's right. I skipped through the credits because I fucking hate watching credits.
Well, I purposely watched it.
Okay.
And
let's get through it.
I thought personally, the pictures make it look like a true story, because it just looks like a real house. But then the
oldie worldy photos.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, as they're going through the pictures, it looks normal.
Yeah.
And then one picture shows like a black shadow stood there.
Okay.
And then it goes.
I get. I didn't.
And then it goes to like the next image of like a kitchen, but then you see like a chair move out slowly on its own. Yeah. So it's sort of giving you that impression straight away of what's to come.
Yeah.
But it makes it look real, like it's going to be based on a true story.
One of them. But for once, this isn't, is it? This is just a great story told by James Wan.
Yeah.
We then we move into obviously the family just moved into a new home. Yeah. There's boxes everywhere.
It's hectic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a big suburban house in America.
Yeah. So what I liked about that bit.
And I really picked up on this straight away, and I'm glad I've written it down. So the woman's what's her name? I've literally just watched it. Renee.
Oh yeah, Renee. Yeah.
So
yeah,
Renee's the woman. Yeah, she's the mother of the children of the family.
Yeah.
She's unpacking her boxes. We see sheet music.
Yes.
On the front of her box, which is quite important.
Yes.
See sheet music. She's looking for her sheet music, and then the camera's looking straight at her, and then it sort of moves to the side.
Yeah.
And then you just see Dalton stood in the background.
Yeah.
Exorcist shot.
Yeah.
So you know in The Exorcist, when she comes down the stairs, they're all playing the music.
With the
right?
mum.
So sheet music.
Yeah.
All playing the music.
No way.
And then the movie, the camera pans, and you see
and she stood there,
the girl
she's
stood there, and she just starts weeing. Instantly, when I seen this and realised that was the shot they were going for, I was like,
yeah.
Does he stop peeing?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to stop pissing himself. I was like, go on, do it.
You're all going to hell.
He doesn't. He's like, Mum, I can't sleep. And like, you know.
No, do you know what? I never clocked onto that.
Yeah.
Never clocked onto that at all.
It's got to be referenced in The Exorcist.
Yeah,
it has to be, right?
Well, I've found another thing within the film that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know exactly what
I was hoping that you didn't know.
Exactly
I was hoping you didn't know, but I think
it.
you know.
I think you know.
But it'd be good to know if these knew.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so what I was going to say was what I liked at the beginning of it was just deadpan silence, and she gets up and comes down the stairs. And it's just extremely silent. Even her walking down the stairs, you don't even hear footsteps.
Yeah.
She's just completely quiet. So you think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dalton comes in, and then that makes it all okay.
Yeah.
Everything's safe and good.
Yeah, you think something's going to happen to her straight away, don't you?
Exactly, yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, but
so anyway, she's looking at family pics of herself as well.
Yeah.
So she's got a box of sheet music and a box of photos. And Dalton comes over and she's like, oh, you're okay, you're alright, because he couldn't get to sleep.
Yeah.
She's talking through these pictures of her when she was a child. She says, oh, have you got any pictures of Daddy? Nope, no pictures of Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, some strange how there's no photos of Daddy.
Yeah.
And then, so they have a little bit of an interaction there. But then, as the morning progresses, Renee's in the kitchen doing all the work on the phone to companies, saying like, oh, here you go. She's got the baby, the younger child, and then Dalton.
Yeah.
They're all causing havoc while Dad's just asleep upstairs.
Yeah. Because she's on the phone as well, trying to speak to a robot, getting pissed off.
Yeah, that's it.
Typical life.
Dad's just doing typical dad shit upstairs, getting himself nice and ready while she's doing all the housework. Comes down and he's like, right, see you in a bit, kids. Off he goes to work, and she's like, the fuck.
So it's really based around the mum at the beginning, isn't it? It's about her situation, what she's going through.
Yeah.
You know, trying to look after all these kids while trying to get the house all set up as well, while Dad's just off to work doing his thing.
Yeah.
And she's just left in that house on her own.
Yeah. It's like the whole film is based around the isolation of the woman at home.
It really is, yeah.
Which is where this sort of gets my credit for it. The isolation is really good in this film.
You feel it 100%.
Yeah. So he's off to work. Renee's writing some music.
Yeah.
We know that she actually writes music now, not just some old stuff that she used to do. She's trying to work on her music, and then the baby cries upstairs in the bedroom.
Yes.
And we have our first creepy
interaction.
moment. Yeah. So she goes up, walks into the room, nothing's there. This will come back again later in the film as she walks into the bedroom. Baby's alright, and she is. The door's slightly open, ajar to the loft.
To the loft, that's right.
She goes up, tries to turn. This makes no sense to me. There's a ladder to the light switch for the light in the loft.
Yeah.
She starts to climb the light. The ladder breaks.
Yeah.
She turns the light on, but the ladder breaks.
And what does she say?
And then the furnace turns on, doesn't it?
That's it. Yeah. The furnace turns on.
So you're like, oh, okay, a little bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, because I don't know how that works over there. So I take it that's just like a boiler automatically turning itself on.
I assume so. That's what we assume.
Yeah.
That's what we can assume.
As English people.
Yeah. That's what we can assume for that. So the furnace randomly turns on, and then we cut to night time where the dad's come home.
Well, no. What does she see in the loft?
Oh, the sheet music's up there.
Exactly.
Of course. Is that not later on?
No.
It's later on. It's later on.
Is it not?
It's later on. Trust me, it's later on.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's later on because Dad comes home and she goes, oh,
right. Okay.
I'm missing my sheet music.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bit
me
later.
getting too excited.
No, it's alright. So she's done everything again. The house is nice and tidy.
Yeah.
He's come home and he's like, "Oh, thanks, honey. You know, give me a smooch. I want a smooch. I want to play with my kids finally.
Family life.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to play with my kids for a bit." She tells him that her sheet music's now gone missing.
Right. Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, that's funny. Maybe you misplaced it somewhere. We've always tidy that you've got going on."
I'm with you.
And we see Dalton playing upstairs.
Yeah, so what I thought about that, the only bit that I didn't understand is, so he's sat at the top of the stairs on his own.
Yeah.
In darkness with a little lamp on. I thought, why?
Yeah.
If you're a kid, especially if I'm a kid, I wouldn't play in the dark.
Yeah.
You just turn the light on.
But and what we find out later, it's not to spoil it, but what we find out later is that he's a bit scared of the dark, and he always has these weird dreams, so he doesn't really like being alone at home on the dark. So why is he sat at the top
of the stairs on his own with a little night light?
A little bit of
just turn the fucking light on.
So we find him playing there, and then we have this interaction. We're like, "Oh, sheet music's gone missing."
Yeah.
He climbs up the stairs to the loft because the door again just randomly fucking opens.
Yeah.
And then he goes to turn the light switch on.
But he's got to climb a bit higher.
Has to climb a bit higher. Only like a step or two higher.
Yeah.
We get the strings coming again.
Oh yeah.
He slips and falls on the stupid ladders again because they broke again. I mean, just get rid of the ladder. Why are the ladders still there?
Just get down.
Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Put a nice little metal step ladder there that's not exactly break.
It's the 20th century.
You know what I mean? Come on. The furnace turns on again.
Yeah.
But this time, Dalton just screams the house down.
He is something.
So he takes a bit of a bump from the stairs, which the fall he makes, he doesn't land head first. He lands on his back, but for some reason he's got this giant bump on his
bruise on his head. Yeah.
Parents come up to investigate. He's screaming his head off. He's and then we see the sheet music upstairs.
Yeah.
And Dad goes, "Oh, you put it up here all along. What were you doing?" And she's like,
"What?
Come on, Josh, shut your fucking mouth. I didn't put it up here. I just said I couldn't find it. Why would I put it up here and then be like, oh, where's it gone?" She was at home all day. Why the fuck would she go upstairs and put the sheet music in the wall?
That's the only box that's up there as well. There's no other boxes up there.
So it's been moved there by somebody. Some mysterious creature. Dalton goes to sleep. Parents are like, "Oh, I hope everything's alright. We've had such a hard time in the last few months, blah blah blah." We have this whole interaction which it means nothing.
It just fills a gap, doesn't it?
Yeah, it means nothing by the end of the film.
No.
And then I think we wake up the next morning and that's it. Dalton is out.
Yeah. His dad goes to wake him up. His dad goes to wake him up.
Dad goes to do a bit of parenting, doesn't he? For once.
Yeah, in the morning. Must have had a later start.
And he is out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, what I like though, sorry, I nearly forgot, there's a nice little shot of Dalton's bedroom. So remember the first shot we have? Where it's...
Yes.
Well, again, you learn later on what that shot is. It's the exact same shot as that, but it's Dalton this time.
Yeah.
Look out the window at the back, there's nothing there. We turn across and then the trees are white.
That's
and
it,
it's like the winds of change
happening.
Something is happening.
Brewing.
So then obviously when we wake up and Dalton doesn't wake up, we know something's happened. The winds have changed. This is it now.
Yeah.
Take him to the hospital, don't they?
Yeah.
And then we have this stupid doctor shot where it's like, "Oh, I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I wonder what it could be."
Another reference to The Exorcist.
Yeah. We don't have a clue what's going on.
They do all these tests and they don't have a clue. Yeah.
He's just in a coma. You know.
Don't you think it looks dead old? Especially the beginning, and then up to where they're in the hospital. Yeah. Everything looks old. Don't you think? The house looks old. The furniture that they've got looks old.
We don't. I didn't really check on the setting of the film, but I think a lot of suburban, out of city limits America is still quite not old fashioned, but it's just like the cities are obviously mega, aren't they? But I think a lot of America on the suburb. Again, American fans, if you are watching this at all, or if you've been to America, you know a lot about America.
Yeah.
Please tell us why.
Yeah, let us know.
A lot of the suburbs are all
old buildings.
A lot of the UK where we live now is like everything's just
There's
getting
new houses
rebuilt
getting
and just getting
put up
fucking knocked
straight
down and
all
rebuilt.
the time.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, weird. And then we just have a sign that says 3 months later.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's just a massive
out of nowhere.
So nothing must happen for 3 months.
Yeah, nothing's happened for 3 months.
Must just be obviously apart from him being in the
Dalton's still in a coma. Renee is now just a stay-at-home mum,
and she's
looking after.
She just looks
Dalton.
drawn, doesn't she?
She already looks absolutely knackered.
Yeah,
she's like,
she's just
the woman's telling her how to deal with Dalton. And
she's not
just
taking it in, is she?
Yeah.
She's just completely done with it.
She's already done.
Yeah, she's tired. You can tell.
And then we have our first shit scare of the
yes,
of the film, and
in broad daylight as well.
Broad daylight.
That's when I love him.
Renee's
when it's broad daylight.
Playing some music, is she?
Yes,
or is she?
She's sat at the piano.
Yeah.
And the baby monitor goes off.
But it's not crying this time.
No, it's like a little
some
whispering.
weird, like whispering, crackling of the
she can't make
audio
out.
waves.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. She picks up baby monitor and then she hears, nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. I want it. And then she walks out into the hall. We have this lovely little spiral shot of her looking up, and it sort of the camera pans, and then it just goes, no! And you're like, oh no!
Fucking shit it.
Strings come back in, the music comes back in. She goes running upstairs.
Yeah. But could you imagine hearing that? So I always look at it from like a realistic point of view.
Yeah.
Could you imagine as a parent, and you know no one else is in the house, and your baby's upstairs having its, daytime nap.
Yeah. And then that happens.
And you hear that. Could you imagine being the baby?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Fucking who the fuck's this?
Got me a little fucking nightlight on my little spinny musical thing going on, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing some.
Because babies always see shit. Yeah.
And nothing's in the room again. We have our.
No.
So, rule of 3 for any new horror fans. We always have a rule of 3. The first night she hears crying on the baby monitor, we go into the baby's room. Nothing's there. It's a nice front shot of the room. You see everything.
Everything's
Nothing's
safe.
there. Second time, obviously, when the loud noise of now happens, she runs upstairs, grabs the baby, and again we have the same shot. She stood at the door with the baby.
Yeah.
Nothing's there. Rule of 3 tells us that the next time we're stood in that room, something's going to happen.
Be there.
Yeah. So she goes to see her other kid who. I didn't know that at this point.
Foster.
Is it Foster? Is that the name of the kid?
Foster, yeah.
I didn't pick that up at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what this kid was called. I just called him Kid. Other kid.
It's Foster.
Other kid says it's night time again.
Yeah.
Other kid says I'm scared, and she goes, "Oh, why? What's up? It's all right. I'm scared of Dalton walking around at night."
Yeah.
And she's like, "The fuck?"
And I was like, what? Is it a fucking coma?
Dalton's in a coma, mate. Right, you're lying.
Pulling his tubes out at night and then putting them back in.
Again, we realise a little bit later that it's not necessarily Dalton that's walking around at night.
No.
Night Kid.
Night Kid? Who's Night Kid?
Oh, sorry. It's Night, full stop. The kid, Foster, hears creaking from Dalton's room, and he goes to investigate, as you fucking wouldn't if you're a kid. You'd be like, no, under the duvet.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Thunder type thing.
Well, he only goes to his door.
He literally gets to the door, he hears the creaking get louder.
Yeah.
Runs back, shuts the door, and the creaking
and then
continues.
the quilt's over the head.
Huh?
Then the quilt is over the head.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I thought as well is, so up to this point, so like I said before, like Renee is tired.
Yeah, already tired.
He's saying he's scared at night of Dalton walking around, so he's clearly tired as well.
Yeah.
From being up all night.
Shit.
Don't you think, as a horror movie, because people don't believe in supernatural and stuff like that,
yeah,
as a writer, that gives other audience members that maybe don't believe an excuse to say, well, there's a liable reason they're tired.
At this point,
so
you're hearing things. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And which very shortly we'll see that the dad is just like, oh, come on, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
been sleeping sound.
Yeah, because he's going off to work, doing his work, coming home, getting dinner made for him, the lazy little shit.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a knob, isn't he?
He is at first. Yeah.
But again, you realise why that is a little bit later. I think it's
because he's a bloke, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just like, shut up, Renee, you dafty. Like, this is what happens then. So Renee tells Josh that he's, she's getting a bit scared. It's going to her head a bit. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. Doof, doof, doof. Big knock at the door, and he's like,
all right,
okay. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Twice about this.
And here's another point. So he goes, big tough guy. Oh, it's big. I'm a big tough man. Like, goes downstairs. I'll investigate.
That'd be me. That
waiting for the bat to come out. There's no bat. I was like, oh, come on. I wanted him coming downstairs with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And
proper
apparently,
American style.
And apparently, Americans don't lock the doors at night.
What?
Because this guy comes down.
Oh shit!
Just opens his door and he's like, nothing there. He's got his little torch out the window.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah,
because,
do you know what I mean? Like, he just comes down and...
I don't know whether I was going to speak to you prematurely.
You've got 3 kids. Then. One of them's a very small baby. One of them's in a coma. And the other one, for all intents and purposes, is a bit of a scaredy cat, right?
Yeah.
And you're not locking your door at night?
No. I don't get that.
Your wife's
he does have an alarm
telling
set.
You as well.
He does have an alarm set.
Yeah.
Because while he's downstairs...
he sets it. So he goes down... Opens the door slightly, has a look outside, nothing there, looks out the window,
so
nothing
then he
there.
sets it.
Locks the door, sets the alarm.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Right?
That doesn't make sense.
But he's a big tough guy,
Yeah,
He
exactly.
can handle anything.
Without his baseball bat.
We don't need to put this fucking alarm on like this door. Nah, I got this big tough guy.
No one's going to come in this house while I'm in here.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's what I always say. No one's going to come in here and be seeing me. And then if actually someone come in, I'd be like, please, I'm sorry, take her quick.
Sorry for audio listeners for that scream.
I'm so sorry.
But, whatever. So he's downstairs.
He's downstairs.
Locks everything. And you've got kids, come on, mate.
Something.
And then baby cries upstairs.
Yes.
So Renee's panicking. He runs back upstairs. They go to the baby room.
Is it not that bit?
Sorry, yes, you're right. Sorry, here we go with rule 3.
This
so
is the
baby cries again.
Number 3.
Renee's the first one to react because she's only next door.
Yeah.
And we've got this figure of a man just stood behind this curtain, but behind the bassinet. No, what the?
I don't know
a crib.
Yeah,
for all intents. So there's like a big curtain next to the crib,
like a Moses basket,
and then you just see this man, this 6 foot tall man, just stood there.
I remember
strings. The music is so good when the music
really
kicks in.
It's really good. But the way that they use violins and the piano,
every time, it's so the same good. Noise.
Yeah,
it's the same,
and it gets you the same in your heart. It's
the idea is so
Yeah,
to react because it's the same noise.
Enhances your jump.
Yeah,
but I remember watching this in the cinema when it come out, and I remember watching this particular bit because
it's a brilliant scene.
But I didn't notice him, and then I just heard all these women scream. So then I jumped out my skin, and when you go dizzy, and you're whoa!
There's a
shit
shot
myself.
like
I didn't even see him
later on in the film, isn't there? I wonder if you noticed it.
I did. I know exactly what you mean.
So that happens. Renee's like, oh, there's a man over there, go get him. Josh is like looking around.
There's no one there,
even though he can clearly see there's nothing there. He's like,
where, Renee?
Where could he ever have gone? Oh no, I'm not this off. No, I'm taking off. And the alarm goes off.
Exactly.
So the alarm then goes off. He runs downstairs. The door's wide open. The alarm's going off. And he starts acting like a big time puss now.
Yeah.
He's like walking around the house, turning all the lights on.
So when he realises the door's open and he gets down the stairs, he starts walking around the living room, but leaves the door wide open.
Yeah.
Surely, shut the door first.
Surely you'd look outside first and be like...
You look out and then shut the door so that no one could get in.
Because clearly whoever has broken in or broken out was in the house to begin with anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Your wife's just said there's a man upstairs.
Yeah, and you locked the door.
Yeah, and you locked the door, yeah. So clearly they were in the house.
From a realistic point of view, someone's already in the house.
And he's there walking around the living room going...
Yeah, proper slow.
He's dead slow now. He's acting like
I'd be exactly the same though.
Big time puss. Turns the alarm off.
Yeah.
The alarm goes off again.
Yeah.
And now he shuts the door.
Yeah. Finally.
Now he shuts the door, and that's the end of that interaction at night.
Yeah.
I mean, it started. You can feel the tension now starting to build in this film.
Yeah.
Josh is realising there's something going on.
Yeah.
He knows there's something going on, but he's still acting like he's got this wall in front of him.
He still thinks there's a logical explanation for it.
And then we have Josh teaching.
Yes.
So Josh is teaching, he dismisses his class, tells them all to go home, and then he's looking very tired all of a sudden.
He is.
Because he didn't sleep last night.
And this is when I realised it was like modern, because he had an Apple mat. So I said it's been looking all old at that moment in time.
Exactly.
But then there was an Apple mat.
We
and I was
know
like,
it.
oh.
We know it is.
So then I got... But I always take it for face value, so...
Yeah.
I was like, oh, right, okay.
And then we have a brilliant little Easter egg.
Oh my god! I was hoping that you hadn't noticed it, but you had.
Oh, of course I did. To be fair, it's on the screen for about 10 seconds.
The product placement is fucking great.
And we have a face of Jigsaw on the blackboard behind him. Oh, can we say that anymore? No, we can't. On the chalkboard.
It's a blackboard. I don't care.
On the blackboard behind him we see Jigsaw's face.
Yeah. Just randomly placed there. It's fucking
very
brilliant.
Cartoony.
I love it. I love little quirky things like that.
Good little Easter egg. Definitely.
I love stuff like that.
Good little Easter egg.
Yeah, 100%.
And does he ring? No, he gets a call.
Yeah,
saying you need to stay late and do some test papers or whatever.
Yeah.
To which he falls asleep almost instantly.
Yeah.
Or we're supposed to believe. And we have flashback.
Yes.
To the first scene of the film.
Yeah. So it's gone back to the boy in the bed.
What we realise, or what we were led to believe, is that it was him that was in that bed.
Yeah.
And the old woman was from a dream that he used to have, or still does have to this day.
Yeah.
So now we start to think, there's more to Josh. He's not just this stereotypical father. I'm off to work, I'm leaving you all to it. He's trying to block some things out. It leads you to believe that
hallway.
Yeah.
With all the candles. So what I got from that was...
And the red... Is the red door in that scene?
I don't think it is. You just see the hallway full of candles, and I thought that's the first time you see the second realm, the other realm.
Yeah.
You know that's...
Like the mist.
That's a dark place. Yeah, because then it shows the house with fog outside.
Yeah, that's right.
So I thought that's the first time you see this other realm.
Good little flashback. Lovely some nice shots in there. Yeah. We have sort of that opening pan again where it turns around, but this time you see the corridor. There's no woman outside this time.
No. There's not.
So we just see this corridor, and then we see an outside shot of the house in the mist.
And they always have the clock.
Yeah.
They focus on the clock quite a lot.
That big clock. Yeah. Because it seems like the clock's going quite slowly.
Yeah.
But what we realise in the film is that a lot of time is passing.
Yeah.
So maybe a juxtaposition to that.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Using all terminology.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a reason as to why they're using the clock quite a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I think it's more to show the time passing of her gradually going a bit more insane and more sort of not insane because she's actually to believe in the truth.
Yeah.
So it's more to show that as time's progressing, she's starting to believe more and more that something supernatural is happening, something not right is happening.
Yeah.
We then go to so he's fell asleep. We go back to the house. Dalton's still fucked. New tests are doing nothing apparently, but they now know it's not a coma. Which is a weird sort of time to just point that out.
Yeah.
Renee's starting to lose her shit. We can see that her head's going a bit like, she's really, really struggling with this now. She walks into Dalton's room. She's still in Dalton's room. The little nurse leaves, and then
there's something on the bed.
And then
it's by his
Why
foot.
does she pull the sheet back?
Is it not already like that? And then she notices a bit of red on it, and she pulls it back.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't remember, but there's a big bloody handprint.
Yeah.
Right next to his foot.
Not human. Too long.
Massive. Right next to Dalton's foot.
Yeah.
She tries to call Josh, but he's obviously fell asleep.
Yeah.
And now he wakes up a lot later. Bad dad. He just fell asleep at work, and now she's thinking, well, what is he doing?
You're taking the piss.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here.
I'm seeing 10:30. Yeah. So he was. I'm assuming kids leave school similar time to. So kids left at what, 3:30?
3ish.
It's now fucking 10:30 before he's got home.
I mean, if that was me and that was my missus, I'd be thinking, what are you up to? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You did not fall asleep.
So Renee is paranoid. He gets back to the house. She's sat on the doorstep with the bed sheet.
Yeah. They have a little to do, don't they?
She's like, the house is terrifying. I don't want to live here anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's going wrong. She finally sort of opens up to Josh about it all. Again, he plays it off. He's like, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah. He's like, I deal with things in my own way.
Yeah.
And that's what really pisses her off.
She's saying,
I need support.
She's like, you avoid stuff, you avoid any stressful situation.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's what I do.
That's what I do. Well, no, I don't, but I do.
She shows him the bed sheet, and he's like, oh my god. And then we have more kid flashbacks.
Yeah, he's sleeping on the couch.
He's on the couch. He's dreaming about his old kiddie life again.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he touches kids, just that he's back to his kid life.
It's starting to slowly come back to his mind, isn't it? Of what's gone on.
Yeah.
In the past.
Renee wakes up from, and we have this is one of my favourite scenes.
Yeah.
Renee wakes up from a bad dream as well, so everybody in the house is having bad dreams.
Yeah.
Renee wakes up from bad dreams screaming.
Oh, this bit was fucking great.
It's such a good scene.
You ain't walking.
We have a pan. I'm going to try and describe this.
I love it.
We have a pan on her, on the side, and you see the window in the background.
Yeah.
She's panting, and then you sort of just see but she's looking down.
Yeah.
The shot looks back down to her, but you see a shadow move past her. Coming from the outside of just something.
Yeah, so I
past
thought they were
window.
Upstairs. So have they got like a balcony outside the room?
So they have a little balcony on that second floor. So you see
pacing, don't you?
Yeah.
Or someone pacing back and forth.
Because the camera then pans back to where the shadow is. You see this pacing, and then it's this brilliant still shot of the side of the room, the side of Renee, the window, and then like a wall which doesn't have a door on it. No. It's just a wall. You have this pacing back and forth, and Renee's like,
and then
the fuck. She's like,
goes that way.
Josh. It walks out from the window.
Walks out one way, and then when it walks back,
when he comes back, he's inside. And it's like,
fucking shit myself.
It's such a good shot.
Even last night when I watched it,
because it's so quick as well. So he walks back, and bam, he's back in. And it's like, oh my god,
it's so good the way it's done.
Strings,
fucking
pianos, keys go off again.
But his face moves as well. His face is all fucking weird.
She screams.
He is and fucking legs it up.
Josh runs up to help her, to save her. Where am I? In a house.
Is he still there when Josh gets upstairs?
Josh to the rescue. Still doesn't believe it. No, he's gone.
Yeah.
Still doesn't believe her. But thinks maybe now's the time to maybe act on something, start doing something.
Let's move.
She's so Josh's mum comes to help when they've packed. Finally move house again. Yeah. Josh's mum is here to help because she starts suspecting that something's going on.
Yeah, she knows something. Because she randomly just comes out of nowhere, Josh's mum, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You've not seen her all the way through.
We see this brilliant, lovely little shot of Renee holding a family photo.
Yeah.
With Josh in it.
Yeah.
And the mum goes, "Oh, you managed to take a photo of Josh, and he's standing still, like he's not moving or something like that." And then she takes the photo and just goes, "Oh shit." Like as if to sort of say she'd seen something, or the way, because if you look with the way his face looks, he's like this.
Yeah.
He looks quite sinister.
Yeah.
On the photo, which makes her mum go, his mum go, "Ooh,
something's not
right."
Yeah.
She's being supportive, but you kind of get the feeling she knows what's happening.
She definitely knows.
She's definitely clocked on.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we have the greatest scene in the whole entire film. It's a one shot for the first minute and a half.
Oh yeah.
Of her walking around the house while she's playing a symphonic piece of music.
This is one of my favourite scenes.
The camera's just following her through the house. It's very like swashy and washy. And this is where I hope you've seen it.
I did see it.
So she walks through the corridor. She
goes to like the laundry room bit.
She turns back and walks back through the laundry room, and there's just a child.
Someone stood there.
What looks like a child just stood against the wall like this.
And he's got like a peak cap on.
But what makes you question it is whether, because there's a lot of things hung next to it. So it could just be a hat and a coat hung up.
No, it's definitely.
But it isn't.
Yeah.
It is the child.
So I watched it with my mum last night.
The first time I watched it, I didn't notice it.
I went, I said, did you see it? And she went, I said, did you see it? No. Did she see it?
So that's a brilliant. Anyway, so it follows her through. She walks outside, she walks past some
and
blankets,
then the music changes.
and then the music goes...
Tiptoe. Right,
Brilliant.
That's the film I think of straight away when I hear that song.
That song, what was it called? Tiny Tim?
Yeah.
There's a guy who, it's fucking easily the creepiest song I've ever heard in my entire life.
But before it, would you have thought it was the creepiest song? Or until you watched Insidious?
Probably not.
Exactly.
But it became so well known that
like Insidious.
Like clowns.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear that song, when you see a clown, you instantly think, oh shit.
Yeah.
It did for modern audiences what clowns.
Exactly.
It's a similar way, obviously in a different type. You know,
it's a creepy tune now. It didn't used to be because I knew it before the film.
Yeah, I'd heard it before.
But now you just associate it with Insidious, and you're like, oh shit.
And then she walks past and she thinks she sees a boy dancing.
Yeah.
She moves to the next window.
And he's gone. Yeah.
And she's like, fuck.
The fuck's going on?
We have this whole thing where she's following him through the house because the boy's sort of giggling and running around. And then we have the little rocking horse scene.
Oh, yeah.
Which I always thought was the moment we see the demon, but it's not, is it?
No.
So the first time I watched it,
you're expecting to see
you associate it because in the next scene, that's when it happens. But so you see the rocking horse going back and forth, and then the door swings open. You hear the child laughing again. So it's like he's ran out,
runs off somewhere
but you don't
else.
see him.
Yeah.
Brilliant little scene. That whole 2.5 minutes
fucking great.
Is genius.
But then when she gets to Dalton's
there's a lot of
room,
long shots. There's a lot of one-shot takes where, like,
but it's like a little boy, isn't it?
Brilliant.
And then she gets to Dalton's room and she sees these old shoes.
The shoes.
So then she walks towards it, and I'm sure she's got like a baseball bat then or something.
Yeah.
And then she moves the curtains on the bottom of the wardrobe,
and then there's
nothing there, and then he comes out the wardrobe, but he's got an old face. He's not a kid, he's like old, and he's just laughing.
That is the best scene.
It's the
best
great
scene in the entire film. It's about 2.5 minutes long.
But it's so random because it's not like the other ghosts
so well
that you've
shot.
been seeing all the way through.
No,
it's just a
so
random,
well shot.
Yeah, really good.
Brilliant.
And that it gives just that scene alone gives you about 2 or 3 jump scares itself.
Yeah,
and you're like, fuck.
I remember watching that in the cinema, and
so clever.
The whole of the theatre went batshit at that scene.
It's horrible.
I remember it vividly.
But from that moment, I think I wrote down, it just goes to show you how, as time's gone on through this film, how much more confident the ghosts are getting at showing themselves.
Oh yeah.
So they're literally just winding her up, and they're literally out and about. Whereas at first, all you could hear was noises or something through the monitor. But now at this point, they're out and they're like, look at me.
What we get to in a minute, isn't it? Where they sort of explain why it's starting to build.
Yeah.
It's not just paranormal activity where it just builds for no apparent reason.
No.
There's a reason into it, and I quite like the fact that they explain that. I'll go into it shortly.
Definitely.
I really like. Obviously, a lot of horror films, it always starts quiet, it gets louder, but there's never really any explanation for why that's happening. No. There's quite a decent explanation as to why that's happening. Yeah. So, Lorraine sits them both down after this. Oh no, sorry. This is one of the best lines in the film. So, the priest arrives. He's sat there talking to Renee
in the living room,
and Josh comes home and goes, oh, isn't this the first line of a joke? Man comes home to find his wife with a priest. And I just think it's so out of character for Josh really to say it. And I'm like, the fuck?
Yes,
but he's brilliant. Like, where's this humour come from, Josh? You've been a dick the whole film.
Yeah.
He's brilliant little line. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
So Lorraine arrives and tells him about a dream that she had the previous night.
Yes.
The reason she's back round is because she's seen this before when he was a kid, but she doesn't really go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But you know that she's now telling you, okay, this has happened before.
Yeah.
And then we have the first shot of our demon.
Yeah, in the room.
So she's like, oh yeah, I walked into your room and you two were both asleep.
Yeah.
And then I heard a noise from Dalton's room and I went to Dalton's room.
And
there he was stood. It's the way that it's shot of their faces.
Because at first she opens the door
and you don't see
stops.
the corner.
Yeah. And then it's
Brilliant little shot of Lorraine telling the story. It's slowly zooming into her as she's telling the story, as it keeps quick cutting back to the dream that she had, and back to Lorraine, then back to the dream, and then back to Lorraine, and every time it's getting a bit closer to Lorraine's face, and then she says, and then I saw him in the corner, and it's you know, he's there, and then she's like, what do you want, apparently,
and then it points at
and then it
Dalton,
points saying, I want Dalton,
and then fucking shit me up again. Then she's looking at Josh.
Oh yeah, I forget that happened.
Oh my god, shit me up. I forgot.
We come out of the dream, and everyone's a bit scared, and then Lorraine looks up from this daze that she's in, looks at Josh, and we just see BAM in the camera.
It's right behind
Josh's face. It's a good jump
scare. Me up.
Great jump scare.
You just don't expect it.
Not really any need for it.
No, not at all. It's quite calm.
But it's a great jump scare.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It shit me up. Still, I'm so shit when I watch films. I still, even when I know they're coming, I still shit myself. I think it's like an age thing. Because when I was younger, stuff didn't used to scare me that much.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, it shits me up more.
Yeah.
Even when I know it's coming.
And now I think at this point is where we dial everything up to about 11, don't we?
Yeah.
So we hear a big crash from upstairs while they've just finished their little talk about, you know, the demon. She sees the demon, and then we hear a big crash upstairs.
Well, she says he's here, and then you hear the crash.
Dalton's on the floor. Poor Dalton gets thrown around this film so much.
Yeah.
Dalton's just on the floor. The room is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And then it's
Papers
kind of
flying.
a look that Josh gives to Renee of, okay,
something.
I think we might need some help.
Yeah.
And then,
this is the best. This is great.
And then we sort of have this sort of change. The music starts to ramp up a little bit. This is where we get into the second act of the film.
Yeah.
It's like the film split into two. And
it really is. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I think I go through my notes a lot quicker here because it's so hard to keep up with what was going on.
Yeah, it's quite chaotic at this point.
Yeah, so we have this guy called Specs, and we have Tucker, who are two paranormal investigators.
They're like Ghostbusters.
Very strange introduction to them because the film's been so serious, so dark, so moving up until this point, and then we have these two clowns that turn up, and they are like Dick and Dom.
They're hilarious.
They are like Ant and Dec. They are like fucking, I don't know any American.
The Chuckle Brothers.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of American versions, but
I don't know.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
They're all shite if they are. Anyway, so Specs and Tucker are introduced.
Drake and Josh.
They're doing all tests on the house. That actually goes on for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's just them doing paranormally tests.
But the sort of, it's really serious moments going on, but they really bring the comedy into it, don't they? They really. So
sorry, the dog's kicking off.
Ronnie,
come on now. Anyway,
so it's really tense, but at the same time they're sort of bringing you to a level where you feel a bit safe.
Yeah. And he's going around going, don't worry, we'll help you out. He's going around with a little photo, filter clicker.
And I love how old-fashioned the stuff is that they use.
It's so good, isn't it? That little shot's quite good.
Where it changes the
filter
colours.
Clicking, he's going around, and then boom, two girls are just stood in his hand. He's like,
staring at him, like smiling.
Yeah, and the guys are just sat in the living room. He backs up into the living room and goes, guys, you can call Elise now.
Yeah, right now.
And that's it. So Elise is here.
Yeah.
It's time for Elise.
I think
she is a bit of a nut job, but she is a brilliant.
I think she's amazing, but I think she brings the calm. It's like your nan coming into the house.
Yeah.
She makes everything
so all
so
right, guys,
nice.
I've got this.
It's like, I've known you since you were a kid, and I'm really
that's it. Josh sort of finds out that she's known him from since he was a child,
but he doesn't know
building the story, doing really well with the story building so far. In the last sort of 20 minutes, we've started to the sort of story dumping on you, aren't you? Like, right, your mum knew about it.
She looks like the mad medium.
The photos are because there's a reason for the photos. We know that now.
Doesn't tell you straight away, does she?
And then she's like, I had a dream, and this isn't the first time I've had a dream. And now we get Elise coming in and going, oh, I remember you from being a kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, the fuck.
So it's slowly sort of
good little story build.
Yeah, definitely. And she says she wants to walk around the house, And then she says, Specs, have you got your sketchbook? Because I'm going to need it. And you're like, oh,
okay.
why are you going to need it? What's going on?
Need this sketch?
So you know something. Yeah. She's seen something straight away.
Yeah. And above, as she's walking around above Dalton's bed, she looks up, hears this creaking, and then it's just
a change in her
wide
face.
eyes of like, holy shit. Specs is there doing his drawing. He's like, big black eyes, big black legs, spidery fingers. And then she's like, what is it? What is it? Elise runs over and grabs the book, and it's the fucking demon that we've just seen.
Everything that we've been seeing, and then she runs to the light, turns the light on, looks up, and there's
nothing,
just nothing there.
We then get an explanation as to why this is taking its time. Yeah. Why Dalton is in this coma. Yeah. Brilliant little story evolve. Nice little twist to the story to let you know what's actually been. Up until this point, you're like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Here's where we get the story done with why it's happening. So Dalton has travelled. We find out he's a traveller, an astral projector, which means that he can move to the further. Yeah. And he's been going there since he was a kid. Yeah. But this time he's travelled too far and he's lost. Yeah. He's in a dark realm of souls, dark realm with souls of the dead, and the entities are trying to get into his body. Yeah. The longer Dalton is away from his body, and the longer Dalton is in this dark realm, the easier it is for these entities to...
So he's becoming weaker.
Yeah, so he's becoming weaker. The entities are getting stronger because they believe now's the time that they can pass into his body and harm other people. Yeah. They can't harm anyone until they've taken a hold of his body, which kind of lets you relax a little bit because like, okay, no one's going to get hurt. No one's there yet. We're not at that point.
What I liked about the way that she explained it as well, because I've never heard this before in... like just talking to people normal day or in any sort of horror film. Yeah. She says the house isn't haunted, Dalton's haunted. So you whenever you speak about haunted, you always hear haunted house. You never hear of a haunted person. Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool take on it. It's
but the one entity that's stronger than anything is the demon, and he seeks Dalton to cause pain to others. Like I said, the longer he's away, the easier to possess his body. Yeah. Josh stands up and goes, "No, bullshit, we're not having this, get out of my house." Yeah. And that's pretty much how that conversation goes.
He wasn't willing to let any of that in, was he?
That's it. Renee gets upset, Josh kicks them out. They all leave. And then, instantly, he gets his moment of regret. Finally, he believes, because he goes to Dalton's room, because he's never fucking paid attention to his son this entire time. Yeah. And there's drawings upon drawings on the wall of the red door.
He asks him to says, if you can hear me, just tell me.
Give me a sign.
And then one picture falls
down.
And
it's a picture of the demon.
And it shows him, he even explains I watched myself sleep and then I flew away. Yeah. And then you see the red door.
Elise is back. Within a night. And now it's time for shit to go batshit. Yeah. Elise tells them the rules. The rules are basically everything I say, you listen to me. Yeah. Everything I do, you do. Let's turn all the lights off. Let's all have a bit of quiet. I'm going to put this fucking gas mask on my face.
I thought that was so random.
It's so weird. It just
doesn't make sense. Why?
It's a weird choice of iconography, right? It's a very strange thing to stick in front of the camera.
I'm sure if we researched it a bit, there's probably a very good reason, or that's something that they maybe did. Yeah. Back then as paranormal investigators.
I don't know. It's a weird choice. It's huge. It's got this weird trunk on it.
Yeah, and then
essentially it means that
it links up to headphones.
Essentially somehow this piece of device that isn't electrical at all links up to a pair of headphones.
Yeah, that Specs is listening to.
Specs is listening in on the conversation that she's now having in the further. Yeah. And it's a bit like a seance. It's a bit.
It really is. Yeah.
She's calling out to him. There's a camera on as well that flashes anytime there's movement. Yeah.
I like that though.
Cool. I like that aspect.
Really liked it because it starts off slow.
I'm just worried about time. That's why sounds like I'm hurrying up. I hope I'm not chatting too quickly. It starts off with Dalton calling out, and he's like, If you hear me, they'll hurt me.
Yeah.
If they hear me, they'll hurt me. The man with the fire on his face is going to get me if you keep talking.
So then you know it's easy.
And then he says, "There's no way out. I need help. Help.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah. And then
it switches to camera stock and
yeah, and it's like, you fucking bitch,
you bitch, you whore, you fat fucking pig was one of the words as well. Which could be a call out to Saw. You fat fucking pig.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a stretch. The camera's going off like crazy. Lee starts going like, she just starts going and he's like it all goes a bit crazy until the camera just boom, one more big time, goes off, and Elise is just like...
She looks dead.
She looks out.
She looks fucking dead.
She's like, just flat. She goes so flat. Franny! Sorry, the dog's barking again. Dalton's up.
Yeah.
Like, we pan over Dalton.
Yeah.
And he's just not there.
His eyes are closed.
His eyes are closed, and he's just stood next to him, and he just goes... BAM! Like that, and they all go, woo!
They all go flying.
Which is actually a really cool scene.
It really is.
Because Tucker, who's the heaviest of them all, like hits the fucking roof of the place.
He goes flying.
The rest of them sort of come away from the table, whereas he just goes, wham! Because he stood up, he just goes into the air and just hits the roof.
And then Specs tries to get hold of Dalton. Then Dalton smacks him and he goes flying.
He goes absolutely Specs is
But it's good because they filmed it.
Yeah. It's the way they pan and like a lot of these sort of quick turn camera shots of like Dalton just being there and just going bam.
It's just really chaotic. Yeah, it's amazing.
What's going on?
But doesn't Tucker film it though on his camera? Because when what happens after he's done that? Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to. I've forgot where I'm up to now.
Elise starts
tells the rules,
grabbing Dalton's head,
and slams them. Yeah, all the spirits are now. She says that all the spirits are now here.
Yeah. She grabs Dalton's head and she's going, "Get out, leave his body." And then
so they all get back up after this, and Elise just looks like she wants to absolutely knock fuck out of Dalton. Yeah. She's got him by the hair. Yeah. She's got him by the chest, like screaming, "Get the fuck out of him! Get out of this vessel!" And like everyone's going. The spirits are here, aren't they? That man that was stood behind the crib is he's grabbing Renee. And like.
He's like looking at her, and then he goes to grab him. Yeah, and he sends him flying.
Anytime Josh falls, he does this weird like like through the air. He's like
you can tell he's on like on lines.
That's the only thing I would say about his acting is he's not a great stunt man. No. He just goes every time. It's great.
But yeah, then the Tucker and Specs are sat in the kitchen because it all stops, doesn't it? Everything stops and all the lights go back.
Yeah, sorry, it all calms down slightly, and then Lorraine sort of explains, right? Alicia's like, "Come on, time to explain to him what the hell's been going on."
Yeah.
This happened to him when he was a kid. He can also astral project.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and he was really good.
It's like the finding out you're a wizard moment. He's like, "I can what?" He's like, "No, I can't. I can't possibly." And he's like, "But how can you? It's happening to your son. Of course it could happen to you.
You're an astral projector, Josh."
I'm a what? Like, come on, Josh. You figured it out by now. You've been fucking burying it deep down.
Yeah.
They got rid of all the reason there's no photos of him because she kept all the photos hidden away from him.
Yeah, because you could see the woman behind him getting closer and closer.
Like closer, and the hands like over the top of him. Really nice little scene.
It was. It's cool.
But Josh is just acting a bit thick and like, no, it can't possibly happen to me. Nothing happened to me when I was a kid. Well, you don't fucking remember what happened to you as a kid.
They blocked it out.
There's a reason why.
Yeah.
At least, I told Lorraine's hide the photos and forget about it. Josh's the only one. We now know that Josh is the only one that can bring him back.
Yeah.
And it's time to go into the further.
Yeah.
They sort of hypnotise him. Is that right?
Yeah, so they get a metronome going.
Yeah, get a metronome going.
And she starts talking to him and telling him to close his eyes.
Again, like, look, he's a good actor, but some of the scenes, you're just a bit like, Josh, stop it.
But do you think it's the way that it's been directed though? The way that they've told him to do it. Because he's talking about when he gets up.
Yeah, so he's got, it's never gonna work, and then he goes, what?
Oh shit! There's
me. Sees his body. So like, sometimes it's just a little bit like, yeah. I'm just gonna double check something.
Yeah. No problem.
Sorry, you're gonna see my crotch if this is still going. Yep, it's still good.
Happy days.
Just because at this point last time the camera went off, and I was hoping it just wasn't a freak.
Yeah.
We've still got a lot of this film left. We are at an hour. Sorry about this, kids. But you know,
we're enjoying it.
We're enjoying it. We hope you are too.
Yeah.
So time to go into the further. He's hypnotised, wakes up, and he sees his body, and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
He leaves the house, doesn't he? And
Renee tells him.
Starts seeing spirits, one of which is Dalton. So Dalton, I can't quite understand this.
He doesn't see Dalton.
Does he just see a boy?
It's him as a kid.
It's him as a kid.
It's the lad in the bed at the beginning.
Got you.
And he tells him that way.
Right, I missed that.
It's Josh.
I think I was messaging you. Okay, so it's baby Josh.
Directing
telling him to go to this way, please. And he follows him into the dark. It's re-enters the old house that they were in at the start of the film.
Yeah.
Spirits are everywhere. There's a family sat on a couch, which is creepy.
You see the bride, don't you?
Yeah. But there's that scene where they're all sat on the couch, and they're just like...
Do you know what I love, though?
That's great.
They're not...
Good scene.
Like, they're literally sat there, so that you see, like, the dad's, like, reading the paper, but he's like that. But you see the paper moving, because he's trying to stay still, like...
Yeah. And then he stops whistling as soon as Josh enters the room.
And he gets right next to the mum.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on in it. It isn't really relevant.
It's really random.
It's just to introduce you to what happens in the further.
What's happening in the further,
We can probably skip a lot of this.
Yeah. They were cool.
Some creepy bits.
Yeah. And then you get
the house in real time is starting to shake a bit. Is that right? No, sorry, that's a bit further on. Sorry. So the family sat on the couch. Shotgun murders the family on the couch.
Yeah. That's random.
And then they all just appear in front of Josh just as he's about to leave.
So then he goes to the loft.
Yeah. So then he goes to the loft.
And there's the red door.
Yeah. The man from the crib reappears at the bottom of the stairs as well.
Right.
And that's why he goes up to the upstairs. He sort of somehow just randomly shakes him off as well.
Yeah, so
and then he sees the red door. Then he sees the red door.
Well, he sees the red door when he gets up, and he's walking towards the red door, and then the guy appears.
That's right.
And then they start fighting, and Elise says, "You're stronger than him. You're alive."
Yeah.
So then, all of a sudden, after all the elbowing and punching, he just goes, "Leave me alone!"
Yeah.
Pushes him, and the guy goes fucking flying into nowhere.
Pings off into the nowhere.
And then you see he finally opens that red door, and then you see that hallway with the candles again.
Yeah.
So you know.
We know. Okay.
You know you're at that place.
He's been here before. He remembers it. They weren't necessarily dreams. They were him going to this place in an earlier part of his life.
Yeah.
He's now remembering that that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And he follows the path into the red door, and there we have Dalton on the floor, tied up in shackles.
Yeah. It just... Like, the only
scene that I don't like in the film.
I think it's shit. And I put on it, I was like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it really defaces the whole film for me.
If you're a demon and you have all these powers that you could do... For one, you wouldn't need to shackle him.
Like the Freddy Krueger sharpening of the fingernails.
That's exactly what I thought. If you're a demon, why would you need to sharpen your nails?
What's going on here?
And then
Is it because he's maybe preparing for when he's taking over the body to hurt people? Is this his like workshop, so he's getting ready? I'm going to take over this body.
But if you're a demon, like, do you need to sharpen your nails?
Yes, no, probably not. It's just a creepy scene. If you ignore the fact that it's pointless, it's quite a creepy scene.
It is creepy, but you
see him stood at the window like this with his little lizard tongue. He's got hooves.
It just it was a bit
the image of
too abstract.
The image of the demon facial wise is really really creepy.
Yeah.
Everything else is a little bit unnecessary for me.
Yeah, I didn't think...
The hooves.
They could have thought of something better.
Like, he's not the devil.
No.
He's a demon.
He's a demon.
Devil, hooves.
Yeah.
Demon, just a big monster.
An evil person. Yeah, like a very evil person.
Doesn't really add up to the film. It's the only scene in the film I'm a bit like...
Yeah. I completely agree.
That's not scary anymit
I agree.
The atmosphere in the room and the product placement and the iconography in the room, pretty scary, bit weird.
Yeah,
and then the fight scene between those two is just a little bit like,
and it's quick, yeah.
And then it's over. He's grabbed Dalton and they're out of there.
So he's like this big demon, but it's just
a
quick, like the demon shit.
Grab these people, so he's not really that much of a badass.
No.
Grabs Dalton, bolts for the door.
Yeah.
In the real world, that's when the house starts to shake because he's made contact with the demon.
Yeah.
So they're like crossing over,
and they're trying to get back to.
They're trying to get back
their house.
We've got to a point now where Dalton and Josh are about ready to be possessed.
Yeah.
We're about ready to be taken.
Yeah. So while this is going on, now they're starting to hear stuff in the house.
Yeah. The house starts to shake.
So they start to go and investigate.
Yeah, they need to get him back to their own bodies in order to get them back into the real world to stop it all.
So that she gets Renee to start calling out to them.
Yeah.
And all,
so they start all the creepies are there, aren't they?
Yes, because there's that bit where in the kitchen the drawers open.
That's right.
And Specs goes to go and close it, and then a hand comes out. He's like, "Oh, it's in there."
Police tells us that the spirits are now crossing over, and they all appear at the door, just like, is it just a cupboard?
It's in Dalton's bedroom.
Yeah, and they're all
the door just flies open, and it's like,
oh jeez, and they're all there ready to take over someone's body.
Yeah, it was quite good, that bit though.
This bit in particular, I know it's an hour and 40 film, and we're near enough bloody covered the whole thing.
Yeah,
but we're now at a point where it looks like it's starting to rush.
Yeah,
do you not think?
I got that. I got that impression straight away.
Yeah, we're starting to rush this ending. And it's quite noticeable.
Yeah.
Josh gets back to the house with Dalton.
I didn't get this bit
and
either.
For some reason, he's like dead tired or something.
He puts Dalton down.
He's like leaving it like, go on without me type thing.
I'm right behind you.
And then Dalton just runs off.
Yeah, so he's been fine the whole time going getting Dalton. Then next minute
now
he gets in the house
tired
and he's fucking knackered. I was like, what? It didn't make sense.
I know he's been carrying him, but he's not technically in the real world. So is it tiring? I don't know.
No,
anyway,
I didn't get that.
Josh comes face to face with the old woman after Dalton runs off to his room. But then we have a quick cut back to Dalton in his room and the demon's on the bed.
Yeah.
Not letting him get back to his body.
Yeah.
He grabs the demon and then somehow manages to shake the demon's hand off of him very, very quickly and very, very easily. Josh is just screaming in the mirror, "Leave me alone!
Yeah,
don't get away from my family!
Yeah.
Leave me alone!
I'm not scared of you anymore.
Yeah, I'm not scared of you."
But then all the demons get a lot closer to Josh.
Yeah. So then
I think the woman realises the crazy old lady.
Yeah.
And then her face goes from all smiling like that to,
oh shit.
And then
she backs off, and then Dalton's got a chance then because Josh is bringing all the demons to him by him shouting and screaming and hovering. Dalton makes a break back for his room. Josh wakes up because the woman's now disappeared, and then Dalton gets back to his bed finally after the demon's been chasing him. Dalton wakes up, and we have this final sort of piece of nice little quiet moment with the family.
Yeah,
they're all like,
everything's all good.
We've done it. It's amazing. Bit rushed.
Yeah,
seems very rushed. That
but you think it's done then?
Yeah,
you think that's
it. Think it's all over.
And then
Dalton's eating. He's like, "I'm really tired now." She's like, "You can't be tired. You've been asleep for 7 years or whatever it is." And then we have a really lovely way to end this film. The last sort of few scenes might have been a bit rushed, but I quite like the way they end this film.
I do. I like it.
We have Josh looking through all the old photos that his mum kept away from him and says, "Oh, I don't need these anymore."
Yeah.
And Elise sort of takes a photo but sees something when she touches him. Takes the photo, puts him down, looks very anxious.
Yeah.
Picks up the camera that's in the box of all the tools.
Yeah.
Pulls it up to Josh. Flicks the camera and then She sees something.
Yeah.
You don't see it at that point.
No, not straight away.
She takes the photo. She goes.
It gives like a flashback for like 3 seconds before where she takes the photos out of his hand.
Yeah.
And you see an old.
Yes.
Dirty hand.
He goes batshit crazy and goes, "Why are you taking a photo of me, you bitch?"
Yeah.
Grabs hold of Elise and starts choking fuck up and going, "You
Strangling the
whore."
shit out of her. All the shit that person was saying earlier on
is now coming out through Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
then they hear a bit of a commotion.
Renee hears a bit of a commotion, which is a bit unbelievable because he's screaming at Elise.
Whereas earlier on you heard a scream and they all went legging it to it, whereas this time it's taken them quite a while to realise, which I didn't understand myself. But
hey ho, Renee comes running into the room. She sees Elise is like, it's a bit of a, is it grudge shot? No.
So
ring shot where she's like.
So when I used to work at an undertaker's, what they said was, because when the first time I had to go and pick up a dead body, the person was like this.
Oh really?
And I was like, why is the mouth wide open like that? And the guy who worked with, he said, whenever you see a body and the mouth's wide open like that, it means that they've struggled. Oh, and obviously she struggled because she was being
right. Okay,
so that's why mouth's like that.
Anyway, so Renee comes in, sees the body, and then picks up the camera that was dropped to the side of her and sees the old lady that has now possessed our best mate Josh. Can't say he doesn't deserve it, to be honest. But there you go. So he's now possessed, and then we have a tap on the shoulder. It's Josh.
I'm here.
And he goes, "I'm here, honey, don't worry."
And then she goes,
which is very creepy. Yeah.
And then that's it.
And that's the end of the film.
And I really enjoyed the film. I
think it's a great film. I think the ending, okay. There's a couple of scenes, but all in all,
it
started off this early 2010s wave of Insidious, Sinister, horror. The Conjuring, a lot of films like that sort of came out.
Known, Annabelle, all that sort of stuff.
It started off a wave. James Wan decided to start this sort of big wave off.
It's kind of like a horror version of Marvel. All these different films that they create, and they all link into each other with the timeline.
Let's see if we're alright for now.
Yeah.
We can keep going. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do at the end of one of these segments, I hope you enjoyed that, by the way. It was fun for us.
It was.
I actually enjoyed going through that and doing
it was good.
I enjoyed making the notes actually on the film as well. That was watching. What we're going to do from this point now is we're going to give our Scream podcast review score.
Yes.
Are we going to do one each? Maybe we should have discussed this before we.
Yeah, we should have.
Let's do one each
time. We'll do one each.
And are we doing points, or are we just doing a solid score? Are we doing 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or are we doing an 8.5, 8.3, 8.6?
I think we do just a solid point. Yeah, we'll go for a solid point. So,
go on, Scott. Give us your review score.
I'm gonna go for an 8.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good start. Like you said, there was a couple of bits that I thought, So for that reason, I'd give it a solid 8.
I think that's a good score. I'm going to agree with you. That was where I was going with it. So the Scream podcast gives Insidious 2010 11 an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
That's what we give it.
Yeah,
I think it's a great film.
Yeah, it's a really good film.
Yeah, so like I said, I hope you enjoyed that. That's what it's going to be like most weeks. That's how we're going to do things here.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of time, I reckon. I'd say we've got a couple of minutes.
Okay.
What I want to do is, because I think we rushed to the end of that last one because we had to leave. We were a bit short on time last week. We're not that short on time, are we? What time are we on?
Well, we've got about 8 minutes.
Yeah, before you have to skidoo out of it.
That's it, I've got work.
Oh dear.
Got work.
So what I'm going to do is, we did our top 10 last week. I've already had a few comments of people saying, "Oh, your top 10's not anywhere near my top 10. Your top 10's rubbish," and that is fine. Doesn't mean my top 10's rubbish.
This is what we explained right at the beginning.
People have already started kicking off.
His was
can't believe that's number one. Grow up. It's our number one because we
that number one. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That number one is number fucking one.
It's number one.
It's number one.
I'd like to give some honourable mentions because a lot of people are thinking that we only watch older horror films, we only watch blockbuster horror films. Well, we don't. We proved that. Bride of Chucky, Train to Busan, Psycho. Come on, we like all sorts of horror films. It's a proper
mix.
I'm going to give a few honourable mentions. By all means, Scott, if you can think of any, give some of yours. So I'd like to stick in my honourable mention category. I'd like to stick in the sequel to Aliens.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I think it's a better film than the first one.
Okay.
It's a good choice, I think. Aliens is terribly scary. It's a great film.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is incredible. There's more aliens in Aliens. Which makes it a bit more scary. I'd like to stick Hereditary in my honourable mentions.
Hereditary is a good film.
For so many reasons.
It's creepy. It's
weird.
It's
so, all set in daylight.
Yeah, it's really
there's
weird.
One scene that I'm sure everybody that's seen the film knows about. That is just what the
you just didn't even know it was.
It's probably one of the biggest what the fuck moments in all of horror.
Yeah.
I'd like to stick The Exorcist in there.
I was going to say The Exorcist.
The reason it didn't make my top 10, I rewatched it this year, and it's one of them that really struggles to hold up. Yes, it was shot in the 1970s. The acting is questionable in parts, purely down to that's just the way it was sort of back then. That's the way.
I think with a film as well like that, it's so long. It's got to keep you gripped, and I think there's a big part within the middle where you're just like, whoa, come on.
Yeah, I get it. It's a brilliantly shot film.
Yeah.
It's a brilliantly directed film. It's a great story. It's one of the first. It's one of the most critically renowned films. It won Oscars.
Yeah.
It deserved to win Oscars.
It got banned in places because it was that good.
But I believe that it left my top 10 probably only in the last couple of years since rewatching it and since a few other rewatches of other films have made me appreciate them slightly more.
Yeah.
The last one I would like to it's going to be really hard because I don't want to leave all of that. I've got so many on here.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave too many out. I'm going to go with Child's Play, the original.
Yeah.
It's the better film in my opinion. It's the better film. Only because I really think that the story beginning is where it builds, and
I get that.
It's for me. I like the Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. I like the original trilogy, and I think the original film is I think probably 2's close to being better than 1. Yeah, could argue it on a different day. I might say Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Child's Play.
I think we spoke about one last week after we'd finished as well, or it might have been on the Friday. The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there.
70s as well. I think they all came out. I think 71, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, Hills Have Eyes. There's maybe a couple more on that list of the horror film in 2000. I think it was 2001. 71. Correct me if I'm wrong. That there was it was a big year for horror films.
Big push.
Where a lot of the major, like John Carpenter was around.
He was good. William Vampires.
William Friedkin. Like all of the best directors were doing horror films.
Yeah.
Which you don't get that anymore.
No.
They all turn from something and then...
We're all sort of waiting for James Wan to bring out a new film, aren't we?
Exactly. So, they're going to be my honourable mentions. I'm going to do one more. Because I want to. Dead Alive by Peter Jackson. So, Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Directed by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Before he decided to go into quite serious films, he did a New Zealand... based horror comedy called Dead Alive because he's a New Zealander.
Okay.
Is it just please watch it. I mentioned last week that The Thing's special effects are really good.
Yeah.
The special effects, I rewatched it recently. The special effects in this film are phenomenal.
Right. Okay.
And on a shoestring budget. Some of the special effects in this film looks so much more realistic than CGI.
Yeah.
I think CGI nowadays has taken away a lot of horror from horror because when you
it's too much.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You look at the likes of Hostel, where they don't have a lot of money.
That's brutal.
I was listening to a podcast on Eli Roth the other day, and he was just like, I go independent every time I do a film now.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't want a studio. I'll sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
I'm doing my film independent and then I'm selling it on.
Oh, perfect.
And when he did Hostel, he said it was the most fun I ever had making a film.
I bet.
Because the gore, you got stuck in.
Yeah.
They went to Prague and that's
it
where
looks,
they shot
it looks real.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, I think CGI just takes a lot away from horror films.
Yeah, it does.
In the modern day. Getting practical and getting hands-on special effects is so much better. Dead Alive. That's going to be it, I think. Yeah. Unless you've got any more mentions that you'd like to know.
No, we could do some more next week.
Yeah. Okay, we're done there. I'm not an hour and 20, so let's leave it there. Like we said last week, thank you again for tuning in to the Scream podcast.
Yeah.
Get us on all our social medias. Each week we release an episode on YouTube and Spotify. We have other channels, Instagram, Facebook, and we're going to be getting into the world of TikTok. Just bear with us while we figure it out because we're getting older old now.
Yeah.
We will figure it out, and my idea is to post a few clips from the episodes on those platforms to keep people engaged, keep people interested. But please follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on YouTube so that you do not miss an episode.
And if you've got us on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, if me and George share it and you're friends with us already, please like it on the page as opposed to what we share. We share it to get it out there, but like it on the page so that it helps our page out.
All we want to do
appreciate
we
it,
just want to grow,
and
we appreciate that some of our friends may not be their interest. That's fine. Completely understand that. But the more you share, the more you grow. There's going to be people out there that are interested in what we're doing, and that means a hell of a lot to us. Please give us a 5-star review on Spotify as well if you're listening.
Getting a few, so that's really good.
Yeah, we really appreciate every help that we can get at this point. Next week, like I said, just bear with us. We're going to hope to get a couple of episodes out. What we've bought, as you see our brand new Scream mask over here, we've also bought a calendar of 100 horror films to watch. I think for the time being, unless we get suggestions of people to tell us to watch a film, which by all means we're ready to do, or if we go and watch a film at the cinema, we will talk about it maybe a couple of weeks after so as to not spoil for people that may want to go and watch it. So what we've bought is a poster of 100 horror films that we can scratch off. And if we've got nothing, if we've got nothing on that week, what we're going to do is we're going to scratch it off, and
we'll scratch it off during the podcast,
during the episode, and then the next week we'll watch and talk about it. Everything's been said already. Thank you so much for tuning in again this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Follow us on all our socials. Please help us help this page to grow. And we will see you all next week. Scare you later.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.